What up, motherfuckers? Gangsters? Gangsters and gals? What it is, what it was, what it will be. Alright, so here we are. We soldered up all our ESCs, took our time, checked every solder joint, nice and neat, made sure everything was good. Nice little beautiful little solder balls on everything. Shiny little pretty little where is it? Soldering. Focus, focus. Okay, anyway. So that's what we did. We didn't gob anything up. We took our time with each wire, checked them under the magnifying glass to make sure that they were seated and solder was all good and all that. And I already had we're getting so close, guys. I'm so excited. Now it'll rain for the next week and I won't be able to get a flight video in and show you guys. Anyway. So I know, let me get a little wider on this here thing so you can see what's going on here a little better. Now I know we didn't go through and I didn't show you where I soldering up the flight controller. The reason for this being that, like I said in the previous video, the guys and gals at Brain FPV did such an incredible job on that manual. Like, it's so detailed, and they put a ton of work into that thing. And I would really hate to, because I'm a harebrained idiot sometimes, and I'll forget and say the wrong UART or something like that. And I would really hate for somebody to screw something up because of something I said when there's an amazing manual out there like that does everything step by step and shows you exactly how to do this. Because I might miss something or something, and then I get one of them comments in my comment section down below that says, "You fucking idiot, you're dumber than a box of rocks. You soldered that shit on backwards. The ground goes to the dirt. So we're gonna avoid all that, and you just go to the manual. All right, enough of that. So now it is time to start plugging in all of our components. Now, one thing I'm going to show you is, like I said, I don't stack the crossfire. So I have my little crossfire up here, and I ran the Immortal T under the PDB and back to here. So here's a little tricky poo for you. Let me zoom back in here a little bit so you can see this a little better. What I like to do, and I've been doing this here thing for a while, and it works out fantastic. These same little camera mounts that we use on the front here, I get a spare pair for the back and flip them inside out. And then what I do is I take my heat gun and just warm this middle up a little bit while I hold her together. So it gives the antenna just a little bow like that. And guys, I've been doing this like this forever, and I've never ever had a fail-safe. So this little bow is not going to affect your signal that bad. So then with these little camera guys on backwards, right, I slide them right onto these here standing-offs like so. Hang on a second, I actually want this battery wire. I'm actually going to put this on after I put on the VTX, but I'll show you how I do this right here. So then you push them down on there, and look at that. It's down below the prop line and held in there nice and perfect. And I've been doing this this antenna has actually been on 2 builds already, and you can see there isn't even a chop mark in that bad boy. I did lose a little piece of heat shrink right there, I noticed. Must have been when I was swapping it over, but it ain't no biggie. Ain't nothing but a thing but a chicken wang on a string. So yeah, that's how you do that. And then I'll attach, wait, zoom back out. It's one thing I like about this camera over the GoPro is it zooms on the fly. This is the Sony FDR 3000X or X3000, whatever. It was my main vlogging I'm going to do that in a separate video. Anyway, it zooms. So here we are with our component, and we got our little grommies in here, and all that good stuff. So let me show you something here. First I got these little scraggle wires running around on my VTX because I'm not using this extra ground and audio. Here's a little thing. If they would make this micro eagle, now that TBS is putting a separate audio signal on their VTXs, where it used to be smart audio and the audio signal together, you know, so now it has a separate audio wire. So we need microphones in our cams, guys, with an audio out in these micro cams. We need a micro cam with a microphone in it for our long range and especially for racing. So I love having a microphone for racing so I can hear only my own quad and not everybody else is screaming around and get confused onto what's going on. So anyway, that's enough of that. So we are gonna just give these a little twisty poo so they're not hanging all around where they shouldn't be. Another little tip here is I like to twist my wires up fairly well, and then I'll just give them a little tappy poo with the heat gun so that they stay there. Just warm them up a fuzz, and then they stay nice and twisted. And we're going to run that underneath the bottom to plug into the VTX. Let's make sure she's not tangled on anything. Yeah, check our wires under there. Everything looks good. So now we're going to slide that guy down onto our standoffs. Make sure she sits down on there nice. Beautiful. Like a glove. Like a glove. It's just floating up there. Let's see. The wires are sitting on top of something here that's not letting this here side go down all the way. So let's see what's going on there. Oh no. Scooch them over a little bit. I was sitting on top of a thing, or I just wound them up too tight and now they're too balled up. Too balled up in there. Balling. It's, crossed each other. That's the problem. Should be okay now. Okay, that'll do. That'll do her. So, here's another little tippy poo. When we do these here plugs, these little guys here, don't just shove the plug in there, because these are just tiny little tabs on there with tiny little solder points, and they will break off if you do that too many times. And then you're gonna bitch that the board manufacturer sucks. So what I do is I just get it in there a fuzz, and then I grab a hold of it with a little pair of pliers so that I'm not prying the plug off the board as I plug it in. I squeeze it together like that so there's no pressure on those little tabs. Because all it takes is for one of those little guys to bend up, pop off of there as I'm plugging this in. And all of a sudden I don't know why something works and I can't figure it out because I knocked the little pin off of there. So there's that. Look at that. She's beautiful. Okay, so plug in our VTX. We're going to get everything plugged in here before we put the lid on or do any of that stuff, and make sure that it all works. So there's our VTX plugged in. Now we're going to plug in our camera, which we are using the RunCam Micro Eagle, which is my go-to cam, and of course the Lumineer edition with the built-in remote. That means it has the RX and TX on it, so we have cam control from our radio, which I don't know why anybody these days would want to use a dongle instead of doing it this way, but I can understand we don't all think the same. This so we can just configure this in a field. We don't need that dongle anymore. None of that freaking nonsense. So let's plug this little guy in. And then we're gonna fire this baby up, make sure everything works, and hope we don't get a fire. But I will show you a little secret. I have right here, this is my bench battery for testing all kinds of junk. And it's just, you can get one of these like off of Amazon or whatever. It's just one of these. Let me zoom back out again, god dang it. So y'all can see. I just have a long ass cord that I put on there myself with an XT60 on it. I actually have, I opened it up, that's why it's red taped. I opened it up and I soldered all kinds of little leads on there so that I can test every single thing that I come across on my bench. It has a little switch right here, and this is what you want to look for, is one of these little 12-volt packs with the switch on it, because it has a circuit protector in there. It has a little circuit board in here, so if anything is shorted on here, the battery, the little circuit board will not give the quad power. So I have never used one of them there smoke stopper things or anything like that, because if I plug this bad boy in like this and she don't fire up, I know something's wrong. But if we do, yes, she's alive. So that means nothing's shorted. If there was anything shorted, this little circuit board would have protected me and I would not get power. Now, I bought that thing in China. I know you guys are gonna ask me for a link. I don't have one because I bought it off the China website, and you're just gonna have to search around and find one for yourself. Go ahead and use Google all by yourself without having to use a link. Okay, wait, let me get my radio, because we want to test and make sure that everything works, guys. So now we fire up my radio. That's right. That's right, baby. Here we go. Ready? Yeah, baby. And let's see if we got connection. Oh, we're live. Yes, sirree. So now we need to check. We're gonna check everything here, guys. Wait, first of all, let's check motor rotation. I always do props out, so that one's the right way. That one is not, so number 3. That one is not. That one is. So 1 and 4 are good. So when I go into BL Heli 32, I got to reverse 2 and 3. 1 and 4 are good to go. So there's that. So now let's I got a little screen up here. Let's see if I can turn this so you guys can see it. There we go. Oh, gotta tighten up my things. Here's another little hint for you guys. I used to use those, use a camera focus chart for what? Focusing your camera, duh. And you can just go to just Google camera focus chart, and like a million of these pictures will come up. Just pick one. And I used to use the big one and put it like across the room, and then I had to look over there to focus it on the thing while I was trying to look over here. Well, I discovered one of these little guys on there, which is made for nice and close. It is called the Cam Align BFSW version 4.2. So now I can have my little screen here with this little guy here to focus my camera by pointing everything and looking in one direction. Isn't that fucking fantastic? And we got power on the screen there. And looky there. Wait a second. You guys gotta see this. Let me start it over. Oh, with the Skadoosh logo. Fucking love these brain boards. Isn't that cool? All right, so now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have yeah, that there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we have our OSD menu coming up. So now we want to go into features, make sure our VTX is coming up, and it is. So that means we have that configured correctly. So we can go ahead and back out of here because all that is hooked up. The next thing is because we have the TX cam, we want to make sure that that menu will come up. Come on, baby. Sometimes these are, there it is, boom. You guys can see that. Now for these camera menus, you really have to get your little yaw stick right dead in the freaking center to get them to work. And there's also, that's it. Everything is hooked up correctly, guys. We have all of our UARTs right. We have all of our controls right. We have smart audio. The motors are working. We have cam control. So the next thing to do, power this off. Don't need that on anymore. Now my camera's crooked, which drives me freaking crazy. I can't stand it. Hold on, I gotta straighten it out with the mat before I freak out. There we go. Close enough, I guess. Alright. No, it's still crooked. Alright, close enough. I'll let that go for now. Okay, so we are good to go with everything. So now the only thing left to do is to strap all this stuff in there, because like I said, we took our time and we eyeballed everything up before we soldered it all up and cut our wires and everything and made sure we knew where everything was going to fit. So as you can see, all I got to do is screw my little cam into the mounts up here, put a little zippy tie on my crossfire right here, and then I'm going to slide my VTX under here and use the little holes in the QAV R to zippy tie that little guy down. And then I'm going to zippy tie my bat lead onto this standoff over here. Actually, I'll put the top on first and then zippy tie that to the thing, and then we will put our top on and our GoPro mount, and we will be ready to fly, guys. So that's it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and plug this guy into BL Heli 32 and get the ESCs configured and get my little blinky lights done. And yeah, basically that is gonna be the deal. I think we are done. This build is freaking gonna be awesome. Also, like I said before, although we already fired it up and I did this earlier, always make sure you like knock anything off that might have slipped down in your quad there to make sure that there's no little chunks of wire or anything stupid in there to cause problems down the road. And that is that. Alright guys, so one last little hint. I have all these new batteries. Look how beautiful they are. But what I do on these batteries is when I get ready to charge them up for their very first time, I will number them all. Like if I use 6 batteries, then I'll write 1 through 6 on them so that I can cycle them properly. And this is all I ever do. And I beat the living hell out of my batteries. And then underneath that, what the hell is the date? I'm gonna have to look at the date. It is the 9th. So underneath that, we are gonna write 1/9. So now if I destroy one or whatever, and I replace one, or I can tell how long these have been in the air, how long I've been beating on them, all that kind of stuff. If I chop the leads off of one or smash one or whatever, and I put another one into the cycle, and it's like 3.7, like a couple months down the road or whatever. When these start to sag, I know that 3.7 is still good. You know what I mean? This is all I ever do with my batteries, and then I just charge the crap out of them, beat the crap out of them. And when I'm out in the field recharging, I start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just keep cycling through so they get about the same amount of flight cycles on them. And then, like, the next time I go out in the field, I'll start with number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, just depending on how many I fly. So they kind of get equal time in the air, so they kind of fail and whatever at the same time. And that is enough fucking yapping out of me. I'm stoked. This thing, oh, wait. One last thing I like to do when I fire one of these guys up on the bench, just so that we know what's going on down the road, is I like to fire up the motors. Too close. In air mode. And now I'm gonna feel my frame. Oh my God, there is not a single vibration in that frame. These motors are absolute silk. That way I know that I'm getting my, it's not a motor thing if I get jello in the video or something like that. Just when I start out, I want to know that it's all smooth and clean. And I cannot even feel a vibration on this frame at all. They are silk. Wow. So that's that, guys. Next video, hopefully we will be in the air. Peace. Walmart, bitches. Walmart. McDonald's, motherfuckers.
Not flying here today, boys.
Too many soft targets to fly.